Many thanks for staying with us. You're watching Newsnight. We've been having a very, very interesting discussion, a real one, the state of the nation, the state of the economy, the new administration, of course, and some of the proclamations and directives that have been made out there as well. And this is some of your feedback tonight. I think we can start with Twitter. This is what some of you are saying online. Okay, let's see what we have here. Isaac Muthusi, you say things are getting worse each day. Today, cooking oil price has gone up. Cheapest 20 litre is now above 4,000. It had dropped to less than 3,500. Tough times is what some of you are saying tonight. Jane Ambuko, you say, please ask the two legislators what their take is on lifting of the ban on GMOs. Was it too dramatic or drastic? Should there have been more awareness creation before the ban was lifted? There's some disquiet about the ban. Let's see what else. Mark Onsendo Doctari, you say there is commendable visibility of government in the 50 days they have been in power. We are, however, scared of some of the public proclamations being given by CSs and other senior officers and MPs. It needs to be controlled. That's from Mark Onsendo Doctari. Linus Gerald, you say, kindly ask Osion to stop with the lamentations. The blueprint or the plan of Kenya Kwanza is in public domain. We know the problems. Give us the solutions. At Linus Gerald. What else do we have? Do we have another one? Okay. Some of you on our SMS line 22422. Bashir from Hurlingham, you say, let us produce what we eat and eat what we produce. Let me see what else we have here. Somebody here says, agriculture will be real when we have extension officers and farmers bank. Open Bukura Agricultural Institution. Someone here says, Okia Omtata, keep speaking out. And I think during the break, Sosion had said he misses you as an active litigant out there. Sosion, was that what you were saying earlier? You've not seen him as much.
Of course, there's no doubt Okia Omtata as a gifted social justice fighter is one Kenyan who has cut a niche for himself and is a distinguished social justice fighter in his own right. That's the truth.
Do you think the Senate will now occupy him too much? Is that your concern?
Well, he will have to balance legislating at the Senate and fighting with Kenyans for social justice. You know, the entity of social justice must remain strong. It must remain strong and must have resilient and brave men and women like Okia Omtata and Sosion. Yes.
I'm going to change the parliament, so don't worry.
You're going to change the parliament?
Yes.
Yeah, but...
Okay, let me read one more message, then I get thoughts from both of you. I know you've been noting. Somebody here says, great minds of Sosion and Okia, proud of you. I want to make sure there's no pilferage or stealing of certificates, diplomas, and degrees. Education is an equalizer. That's a law from Mombasa. Jackson Mugunda from Kitale, you say what Kenyans are going through is terrible. Can Parliament intervene in that? Okay, let's get some comments. Briefly, because I'd given you a time.
Yeah, very briefly.
Go ahead. We're running out of time.
The issue of KQ.
Okay.
With the endless subsidization from government should have to stop. Why is Ethiopian Airlines making profits every day and ours is leaking? It's because of deliberate capture. That is, it's within the plan of Kenya Kwanza. And the strike by the pilots should be an entry point of turning around KQ. Then number two, the issue, that two twin issues, climate change, which is causing drought devastation, and the president has made a statement. This is going to be a big agenda for this country, and all must work towards that. But it's going to be a process that will take time, coupled with starving Kenyans. And we've seen strong intervention measures from Kenya government to avail food to citizens and to seek other alternative measures of dealing with the calamities of drought, including even introducing school feeding programs in schools. There are extraordinary measures that are required to deal with the current challenges, which we know with time will pass. But from the views of the viewers, the GMOs, which the president accepted through cabinet and endorsed, is going to change agro-production mechanisms in this country. The myth of demonizing GMOs is more mythical than scientifically true. GMOs is the way to go, because GMOs is merely genetic engineering of combining good characteristics of maybe drought resistance with high yielding so that we can have food being available. It's not as dangerous as people are trying to put it. This is a solution that science has allowed. And GMO foods are being consumed globally. And so they should, if we are talking about getting seeds through quality seeds and allowing GMOs to be grown in this country, it's a scientific way. It's a great leap forward in trying to work within the presence and premises of science. Proclamations by the cabinet secretaries, those are just but mere interpretations. Kenyans are still trying to get used to new faces and are still trying to read too much within their pronouncements, like what C.S. Machogu stated, that universities must design income-generating projects is the way universities must go. It is the way universities will live. But he didn't say government is going to discontinue funding of universities. So those are just but misinterpretation from Kenyans. And somebody has said, oh, we should not talk about the plan. They already know it. Let us provide the solutions. You cannot talk about the solutions without a plan. You must have a plan to guide you up to the solutions. So when we talk of reducing the cost of fertilizers, which has been done, and availing fertilizers closer to farmers, reducing the cost of farm inputs, and availing quality seeds to farmers, that is a solution and that is a plan. And it has to be done. It cannot happen overnight. It is a process. It needs some little period of time.
Okay.
And somebody has said, we need extension services to revolutionize agriculture. That will have to be done. It's within the network of the plan. And I can say, very honestly, as a revolutionary leader who believes in change, I can see pragmatic work in place in the plan of Kenya Kwanza. And that is why we call it Kenya Kwanza. It's not William Ruto. It's not the glory of anybody in government. People must fold up their sleeves. They must work. We must talk the truth. And even as we talk about the education sector, the task force is in place. Kenyans are talking. And already government is planning to hire more teachers come January. That is being done. Okay. So our plan, we designed it. We are now implementing the plan. Okay. So let Kenyans give us a little more time. They will see results. And we were not speaking for the sake of speaking, making commitments to Kenyans. We are talking what we love to do. And when I hear the voice of Omtata and how he's talking about the Kenya plan and it will be implemented. A government has been elected in place. It has a tenure period of 5 years, a contract period or 5 years. And we must deliver, not for the glory of the government, not for the glory of the president, not for the glory of anybody, but for the good of the people of Kenya. Okay. Our life must be better and it must change after 5 years. Okay. And it shall change, I have no doubt.
Briefly, Okia.
Well, one, I usually recognize my limitations. And I'm not an expert on GMO. There's a big debate. There's need for experts to lead us on the question of GMO. I'm aware that the Jubilee government did form a task force which looked into the issue. And I don't think the question of food in this country is just a question of growing GMO or not growing GMO. Right now, as we speak, people are starving. And I know in the North Rift, where President Ruto comes from, people have got maize they can't sell. So what is the contradiction? Why is this happening? So why don't we get the food that we have to the people who need to eat it before we even talk of GMO? So, but as for GMO, I think it's an area that requires certain speciality, which I don't think is available in this room. And I think if we put all our knowledge on GMO together, people who are in this room, it will fit in big print on the back of a postage stamp. So let us not talk about GMO. Let us leave it to the experts. Number two, I pray for President Ruto every day.
And
and I pray so that he succeeds. And one of my apostolates is to pray for him to succeed, because if Ruto succeeds, and the agenda he has been telling us succeeds, Kenya will succeed. So let us support him. Let us pray for him. Let us encourage him. But let us insist on him doing whatever he does within the 4 confines of the law. Nothing outside the law for expediency. I asked the president and the deputy president and his cabinet to move away from roadside declarations. And for President Ruto, go and read Article 135 of the Constitution, which requires that whatever the president communicates should be written and signed. Roadside declarations are dangerous. We need to get away from them. And the reason why President Kibaki succeeded, he was humble enough to accept we have a problem, and was humble enough to do what was required to be done. Even when people were going out for handouts, he told them, go to the bank and get the money from the banks. Okay? We need that kind of discipline to come back in our society so that we can be able to move on. But over and above all, we have a president. He's in office. He's an energetic young man. And we should support him.
Okay.
And get him to do the work we gave him to do.
Okay.
Now, I wanted to just say one more thing.
Briefly, please.
Yes. I just wanted to say that right now, people are dying in this country. Animals are dying in this country. When you get somebody, a herdsman who has 100 flock, and he wakes up and they're all dead, they're not there. There's not even, we used to have a mechanism of taking these animals and maybe trying to save these people. Nothing is happening. I plead with this government to take action. Number 2, this drought is not just in the area the newspapers are focusing on. I come from Busia. There are 2 areas in Busia which are very badly hit by droughts usually. This is Samia and Bunyala. If you look at the Carlo declaration of arid and semi-arid areas, you'll find that Samia and Bunyala are classified as ASALs. But we have never received a single grain. The so-called ministry, the emergency services, are not available on the ground. And so I would also like to we remove discrimination in the way we are dealing with disaster. So if there's food distribution in the ASALs, I would also like to see food being distributed in Samia and in Bunyala. There are areas that are totally ASAL, and if you look at the Carlo map, they are there on the map. If you look at the government data, everything is there. So I would like to see that classification come, and so that they also benefit from the efforts being made in the ASALs to mitigate the climate effects.
Okay.
And the climate effects should also come back, and I think the government should pay attention to forests. And with this roadside declaration we're getting about forests should get away. We should go back and try to rebuild the forests. Right now, the irony of Busia that one part of it is heavily forested and has rain, and you'll find that like in Kakamega, where I've got the Kakamega forest, there's rain in the Kakamega forest area. So the forests do bring rain, and let the government put a lot of stress on our reforesting this country so that we can have at least a 10% recover to ensure that we mitigate the climate change effects.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. And we're going to conclude it there. Thank you so much to my guests who've come in, the state of the nation, just a broad sense of what's happening from where they sit. We've had Okiya Omtata, Senator Busia. Thank you so much for finding time to join us today. And that's a very very important message that you sent out there to remember every county and everyone struggling out there that the government can reach them with the support that they had promised. And of course, Wilson Sossion, education is his thing, but joining us to talk about a lot more as well. You knew him from NAT, a former legislator as well, coming to shed light on how he sees it from where he sits. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time this evening. And thank you to everyone who's texted in. 22422 has been the SMS line. Hashtag Newsnight. Thank you for watching us. This is where we conclude the show. On behalf of the whole team that's made the broadcast possible this evening, together with my sign language interpreter, Joki Shege, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you again soon. Goodbye for now. My name is Wahiga Mwaura. Good night.